Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing and exciting stories in numismatic history, the legendary 1982 1-cent coin that shocked the world by being valued at a jaw-dropping $3 million. That's right, a single penny, originally minted to be worth just 1 cent, now holds a staggering price tag due to a combination of rare errors, historical transitions, minting anomalies, and sheer numismatic luck. Buckle up, because we're about to unpack how something so small can hold so much value and what to look for in your own pocket change that might make you the next lucky finder. First, let's understand the historical context behind the 1982 penny. That year was a turning point for the U.S. Mint, as it marked a transition in the composition of pennies due to rising copper prices. Prior to 1982, Lincoln cents were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, but in that year, the mint began switching to a composition of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper, in the form of a copper-plated zinc core. This transition was not immediate, which means both copper and zinc pennies were struck during that same year. What makes 1982 especially confusing and intriguing for collectors is that there were not just two types of coins minted, copper and zinc, but actually 8 different varieties when you consider the small date and large date design variations produced by both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. This alone makes 1982 one of the most complex and collectible years in modern U.S. coinage, but the truly valuable penny is not just about composition or date size, it's about a rare and astonishing mint error that defied all expectations. The $3 million 1982 D small date copper penny is so prized because it should not exist. Let's break down why. First, Denver reportedly only struck zinc cents with the small date in 1982. So, when a copper cent with a small date and a Denver D mint mark was discovered, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Its existence implies that somehow, a leftover copper planchet, likely intended for a previous batch or misrouted from another minting batch, was accidentally fed into the press when the Denver Mint was supposed to be producing only zinc small date coins. The result? A coin that is not just rare, it is possibly unique, or at the very least, one of only a handful that survived scrutiny, circulation, and the melting pot. Even more remarkable is that this error went undetected for decades. It wasn't until collectors, using high-precision digital scales and close visual inspection, began testing and weighing their coins that this numismatic anomaly was discovered. A standard zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, while a copper penny weighs approximately 3.11 grams. So when a 1982 D small date cent came in at 3.11 grams on the scale, the red flags went up, and what followed was rigorous metallurgical testing, X-ray fluorescence analysis, and authentication by top-tier grading services like PCGS and NGC. After extensive verification, this one-of-a-kind error coin was deemed authentic and assigned an astronomical value. But why does a mistake make a coin so valuable? In the world of coin collecting, rarity is king, and errors, especially those that should not exist, create a level of rarity that is nearly impossible to replicate. This isn't just any error like an off-center strike or a double die. This is a composition error combined with a date-style anomaly and a mint location mismatch, all in a year already known for being complex. It's a trifecta of rarity that boosts its desirability through the roof. The possibility of other 1982 D copper small date cents still being out there keeps the hunt alive for collectors worldwide. Every time someone sifts through a pile of pennies, there's the hope that lightning could strike again. People have turned to weighing scales, loupes, and even acid tests in pursuit of another specimen. Some have claimed to find lookalikes, but so far, very few, if any, have passed the rigorous scrutiny needed to match the confirmed $3 million piece. In the coin collecting world, provenance matters immensely, and just having a similar coin isn't enough unless it matches all the key attributes: weight, date style, mint mark, and metallurgy perfectly. What adds another layer of intrigue is how such a mix-up could have occurred at the Denver Mint. Given that planchets were supposed to be carefully segregated and tested for composition, How did a copper blank make it into a batch of zinc coins with a small date die? Some theories suggest human error, where older copper planchets from early in the year were mistakenly left in hoppers or feed tubes. Others propose more exotic possibilities, like rogue employees or mishandled die changes. Whatever the cause, it highlights the complexity and sometimes fallibility of the minting process, reminding us that even in highly controlled environments, remarkable mistakes can occur. And when they do, the market responds with incredible enthusiasm and value. The 1982D small date copper cent is not just valuable for its physical properties. It has become a symbol of hope and possibility in the hobby. It represents the idea that hidden treasures might still be waiting in everyday change jars, that a tiny overlooked detail could be the gateway to a fortune, and that the most mundane objects, a penny tossed aside, might carry secrets worth millions. This particular coin also underscores the importance of coin education. Many people would overlook this penny thinking it's just another 1982 cent. Without knowing about the small date versus large date differences or understanding the composition shift that occurred that year, most would never take a second look. But to the trained eye, even subtle font characteristics and the shape of the numbers can signal something extraordinary. The 2, in the small date version, for instance, has a more curved base compared to the large date. The 8 appears slightly different as well. It's in these tiny nuances that fortunes are discovered. So how can you find out if you have a 1982D small date copper penny? First, weigh it. If it comes in around 3.11 grams, you might have something worth investigating further. Next, compare the date style carefully. There are numerous online guides and images that help distinguish small from large dates. Finally, if your coin checks both boxes, 3.11 grams and small date with a DE mint mark, it's time to get professional verification. Don't clean it, don't alter it, and definitely don't sell it to a pawn shop before you've had it examined by a professional coin grading service. This coin is a dream find, a numismatic holy grail, and a symbol of why people fall in love with collecting in the first place. What's even more fascinating is the broader implication of such errors. It opens up the question, what else might be out there? If a 1982D small date copper penny could slip through undetected, what other minting blunders may have occurred in other transition years, during other composition changes, or amid die switches? This fuels the passion of thousands of collectors, treasure hunters, and hobbyists who are combing through rolls of coins, old bank bags, estate sales, and flea markets in hopes of discovering the next million-dollar error. It's not just about money, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the detective work, and the historical appreciation. The story of the 1982 penny reminds us that minting is as much an art as it is a science. It involves machinery, materials, human oversight, and a little bit of chance. When those elements combine just right, or just wrong, you get something truly special. From its modest beginnings as a 1-cent piece to its ascent as a $3 million marvel, the 1982D small date copper cent embodies everything that makes coin collecting such a fascinating world: history, mystery, rarity, and value. So keep looking, keep learning, and never underestimate what you might find in the most unlikely of places. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Don't forget to check your change, and who knows? Maybe the next multimillion-dollar coin is already sitting in your pocket. When you thought the surprises stopped with the 1982D small date copper penny, the numismatic world serves up another jaw-dropper: the 1983 1-cent coin that has been valued at an astonishing $2 million due to an equally mind-blowing error that defied minting protocols and historical expectations. The 1983 Lincoln cent isn't just any old penny. It is a hidden gem that brings into focus one of the most consequential transition periods in U.S. coinage, and it's a perfect example of how closely inspecting even the most ordinary pocket change can lead to extraordinary discoveries. Now, to understand why a 1983 penny could ever be worth 7 figures, you need to go back to 1982 again, a year we now know was full of experimentation, change, and composition overhauls. By 1983, the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned to using zinc planchets with a thin copper plating instead of the heavier, more expensive 95% copper composition used for decades prior. This change was meant to save costs and streamline production, and officially, no copper planchets were supposed to be used in 1983 or beyond. However, as with the 1982 D-copper small date cent, the minting process doesn't always go according to plan. And that's where the legend of the 1983 copper penny begins. Imagine being a coin collector or even just an average person sorting through their spare change and discovering a 1983 penny that, when placed on a precision scale, weighs in at 3.11 grams, just like the older copper coins from before the composition change. That single detail alone triggers major alarm bells in the numismatic world because, on paper and in the Mint's official records, number 1983 copper cents were ever produced. In other words, it shouldn't exist. But it does. A small handful of these 1983 copper pennies have surfaced over the years, each one sparking intense excitement, skepticism, and eventually confirmation through metallurgical testing and expert authentication. The discovery of such a coin was initially met with disbelief. Experts and collectors alike questioned whether these could be fakes, altered coins, or even elaborate forgeries. But further testing using non-invasive methods like X-ray fluorescence analysis confirmed the presence of a solid copper alloy consistent with pre-1982 compositions. This was no ordinary mistake. It wasn't a matter of a slightly misaligned die or an off-center strike. It was a coin struck on the wrong planchet during a year when such a planchet should no longer have been anywhere near the coining presses. The most likely explanation is that leftover copper planchets from 1982 somehow got mixed into the zinc batches at the mint and were accidentally struck with 1983 dies. This kind of error is called a wrong planchet error, and it's among the most fascinating and valuable types of minting mistakes because it represents a complete breakdown in production protocol. It's not just a visual oddity, it's a chemical and physical anomaly. The rarity of the 1983 copper penny is so profound that only a few verified specimens are known to exist today, and the competition among collectors to acquire one has driven prices into the millions. In fact, one such verified 1983 copper cent sold at auction for close to $2 million, instantly elevating it to elite status among modern U.S. coins. So what should you be looking for if you hope to find one of these elusive coins? First and foremost, the weight is the biggest giveaway. A standard 1983 zinc penny weighs 2.5 grams, while a copper version will weigh around 3.11 grams. That slight difference might not be noticeable in your hand, but it's easily detected with a precise digital scale, an essential tool for any serious coin hunter. Once you've identified a heavier than expected 1983 penny, the next step is to examine its visual details. It should look just like any other 1983 Lincoln cent on the outside. There won't be a special marking or mint signature to set it apart. That's what makes this era so sneaky and so exciting. The key is the planchet composition. That's what transforms this everyday coin into a multi-million-dollar rarity. If you find a 1983 penny that seems heavier, don't scratch it, bend it, or clean it. Preserve it exactly as it is and seek professional authentication through a respected grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can conduct further analysis and, if authentic, assign a certified grade and encapsulate it in tamper-proof packaging that will both preserve the coin and make it marketable to collectors. These rare 1983 copper cents are almost mythical in their appeal. They're the kind of numismatic anomaly that captivates collectors not just because of their value, but because of the mystery that surrounds them. How many were made? How did they slip through? Could more be out there, still undiscovered in circulation, stashed in jars, or sitting forgotten in old collections? The answers aren't entirely clear, and that's what keeps people searching. Just like the 1982 D small date copper cent, the 1983 copper cent represents the ultimate what-if scenario in coin collecting. It's a symbol of how rare imperfections can elevate something as mundane as a penny into the realm of legends. And for every confirmed piece, there are thousands of hopeful treasure hunters weighing coins, checking dates, comparing strike features, and dreaming that maybe, just maybe, they'll find that next $1 million error. This phenomenon has breathed new life into coin collecting. It's no longer just about antique coins or precious metals. Now, even modern coins from the 1980s, coins minted in the millions, are being re-examined with fresh eyes and new technology. Tools like digital calipers, precision gram scales, and high-definition magnification are now common among collectors, all in the hope of catching a detail that others might have missed. The story of the 1983 copper cent also underscores the importance of knowledge and patience. Many people unknowingly spend or discard rare era coins simply because they don't know what to look for. That's why sharing information, educating others, and staying curious are essential parts of the collecting journey. The next great find won't always be buried in the ground or locked in a vault. It might be in the change from your morning coffee or tucked away in a childhood piggy bank. And that's what makes this hobby so thrilling. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. It turns cents into millions. So if you're sorting through a batch of 1983 pennies, pay attention. That unassuming coin could be more than just copper and zinc. It could be $1 million marvel hiding in plain sight. Thanks for staying with us on this incredible deep dive into the world of rare pennies. The 1983 copper cent joins the ranks of legendary minting errors, and its story is still unfolding. Could more be out there? Only time will tell. Until then, keep hunting, stay curious, and remember, the next piece of numismatic history might be right at your fingertips. And if you thought the excitement peaked with the 1982 and 1983 rare cents, wait until you hear about the incredible 1984 1-cent coin that has commanded prices reaching up to $1.5 million due to a jaw-dropping error that makes it one of the most intriguing and sought-after coins in modern American numismatics. Welcome to the story of the 1984 Lincoln cent with the extraordinary double-ear error, a seemingly small detail that launched this common-looking coin into legendary status among collectors and investors alike. Unlike the rare 1982 D copper small date cent or the elusive 1983 copper cent struck on a wrong planchet, the 1984 error is not about the composition of the coin but rather about the die used to strike it. Specifically, the error involves a significant case of double-dyed verse, a minting error that occurs during the creation of the coin's design itself, not during the striking process. The doubled die is a result of a misalignment during the hubbing process, where the die receives the coin's image from a hub. If this process is misaligned, the die ends up with a slightly shifted, duplicated image, and every coin struck with that faulty die carries the doubled features. In the case of the 1984 Lincoln cent, the doubling appears on none other than Abraham Lincoln's ear. To the untrained eye, it might look like a minor shadow or a trick of the light, but under magnification, the second ear is clearly visible and distinctly separate from the first. This doubling is located just behind and slightly below the main ear, giving the appearance of an extra ear growing out of the side of Lincoln's head. It's strange, it's striking, and it's extremely valuable. At first, the 1984 doubled ear cent circulated unnoticed. Many people likely spent or discarded it, unaware that they were holding a major minting blunder. But as coin collectors began inspecting their coins more closely, especially in the wake of the 1983 copper cent discovery, this unusual doubled die started turning heads. At first, only a few were known, but as awareness grew, more specimens surfaced, albeit still in extremely limited numbers. While thousands of 1984 cents were struck that year, only a tiny fraction were made with the doubled ear die, making this variety exceptionally rare. What elevates the 1984 doubled ear cent to $1 million status is not just the error itself, but the condition of the coin. High-grade examples, especially those graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, are what command the most extraordinary prices. A 1984 doubled ear cent in pristine, untouched, red mint state condition with flawless luster and strike quality becomes a trophy piece for elite collectors. These are the kinds of coins that attract serious bidding wars at auction, and when multiple high net worth collectors compete for a piece of modern minting history, the prices can, and do, skyrocket. One such coin, verified as a top-grade red example with the doubled ear feature, fetched over $1.5 million in a private sale, stunning the numismatic community and proving once again that even tiny errors on tiny coins can result in massive payouts. Now, let's break down why this particular error is so compelling. Doubled die errors are prized among collectors because they represent a fundamental mistake in the die creation process. Unlike strike errors that might be caused by equipment malfunctions or misfeeds, a doubled die affects the entire die and, by extension, every coin struck with it. That means the error is consistent across a subset of coins, making it easier to verify and authenticate, but also limited, since faulty dies are usually identified and removed quickly. The 1984 doubled-ear die likely struck only a limited number of coins before being replaced, which explains the scarcity. Furthermore, this variety is distinctive and easy to spot once you know what to look for. Collectors don't need advanced metallurgical tools to identify it, just a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. That accessibility has made the 1984 doubled-ear cent a favorite among both seasoned collectors and newcomers hoping to strike gold. The value of the coin skyrockets based on condition. Circulated examples may be worth a few hundred to a few $1,000s, depending on wear and visibility of the doubling. But uncirculated red examples, especially those with high mint state grades, are where the big money lies. As demand increases and available examples remain limited, prices are expected to rise even further, making this one of the most important modern errors to watch. The story of the 1984 cent also serves as a crucial reminder to always inspect your coins carefully. At first glance, the coin looks entirely normal. Same copper-plated zinc composition, same design, same size and color as every other Lincoln cent from the era. But a tiny shift in Lincoln's ear, less than a millimeter in size, is what makes the difference between a 1-cent coin and a 7-figure windfall. This specific type of error fuels a kind of excitement and urgency among collectors. It's the kind of error that could easily slip past most people. It's not flashy, it's not obvious, and it doesn't involve dramatic misstrikes or unusual coloration. It's subtle. It hides in plain sight. And that's what makes it so thrilling. People have turned to magnifying glasses and digital microscopes in hopes of spotting the telltale extra ear. Coin shows, dealer shops, and online forums are full of discussions about how to spot the doubling, how to distinguish it from die deterioration or shadowing, and how to submit a find for authentication. And every time someone posts a confirmed discovery, it reignites the hunt all over again. The possibility of finding a 1984 doubled-ear penny in a coin roll, a change jar, or even glued to a school project from decades ago is what keeps collectors scanning, weighing, and searching. Unlike ancient rarities that are hidden in museums or locked in safes, these modern mint marvels could realistically still be circulating, quietly sitting in drawers or old coffee cans. This accessibility is what makes modern era coins like the 1984 doubled-ears so exciting. They offer everyday people the chance to find something truly extraordinary without needing to spend a fortune up front. In many ways, the 1984 penny continues the story that began in 1982. That brief 3-year window in U.S. coinage history, from 1982 to 1984, was filled with change, both literal and figurative. Composition shifts, design transitions, and minting anomalies all collided to create a perfect storm of collectible coins. The 1984 doubled-ear cent is perhaps the most visually dramatic of the bunch, as it directly alters the iconic portrait of Lincoln in a way that's both noticeable and unmistakable. It's not just a rare planchet or a weight anomaly, it's a design error etched into one of the most recognized faces in American history. And that adds a layer of narrative power that captivates collectors and historians alike. So if you've got a jar of old pennies sitting around, it might be time to dust it off and take a closer look. That 1984 Lincoln cent you've been ignoring could hold one of the rarest and most valuable errors of the modern minting era. Get out your magnifier, check Lincoln's ear, and if you see a second one, don't waste a second, because you might be holding a $1.5 million treasure in the palm of your hand. Keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the value of small details, especially when they come with million-dollar potential. The 1984 doubled-ear cent is living proof that big things really do come in small packages. And the saga of $1,000,000 pennies continues in the most unexpected way with a coin that, on the surface, seems far too modern to hold such staggering value. The 2002 1-cent coin, a coin that many people still consider too recent to be rare, yet one extraordinary error has catapulted a few specimens into the realm of the elite, with at least one example valued at over $1 million. This is not folklore or overhyped speculation. This is a coin that defies logic, challenges our assumptions about modern minting precision, and proves once again that valuable mistakes can happen at any time, even in the 21st century, even with all the technology and quality control systems in place. The story of the $1,000,000 2002 penny begins with something deceptively simple: a mule error. A mule, in coin collecting terms, is a coin struck with dies that were never intended to be used together. In most cases, the obverse and reverse of a coin come from matched die pairs specifically created for that denomination. A penny gets a penny front and a penny back, and that's that. But sometimes, rarely, and almost impossibly, dies from different denominations are accidentally paired together in the press. And that's exactly what happened with the 2002 Lincoln cent that became one of the most shocking discoveries in U.S. coin history. This particular 2002 mule error penny was struck using a Lincoln cent obverse die and a Roosevelt dime reverse die. That means one side of the coin features Abraham Lincoln, as expected on a standard 1-cent piece, but flip it over, and instead of seeing the Lincoln Memorial or Union Shield, you see the back of a dime, with the torch, olive branch, and oak branch design, complete with the word "1 dime." This is not a gimmick or novelty. It's an authentic, U.S. Mint-made blunder. And the implications of this error are enormous. First, consider the sheer improbability of this happening. The U.S. Mint processes billions of coins each year, with strict safeguards in place to prevent such catastrophic mismatches. Coin dies are designed with different diameters, different striking pressures, and completely different physical dimensions. For a dime reverse die to be mounted in a coining press designed for pennies and then struck with a penny obverse die is almost beyond belief. The dies must have been manually installed incorrectly or accidentally switched during a maintenance cycle or die changeover, and even then, the press had to accommodate both mismatched dies and the wrong planchet without being shut down or flagged by inspectors. That makes this mule error not just rare, but astronomically rare, far rarer than doubled dies, off-center strikes, or even wrong planchet errors. It is, quite literally, the kind of mistake that happens once in a generation, if that. What makes this 2002 mule cent even more incredible is that it wasn't immediately discovered. For years, it flew under the radar. One specimen is known to have been found in a mixed bag of change and kept as a curiosity before someone with knowledge of mint errors recognized its true significance. It was then submitted to professional grading services, authenticated, and certified as a genuine mint mule, one of only a tiny handful known in existence. Once word spread of its existence, collectors and dealers alike were stunned. This wasn't just a rare variety. It was a completely unprecedented minting blunder in the modern era, and the coin's desirability skyrocketed. At auction, or in a private high-end sale, the price easily broke the $1 million barrier, cementing the coin's status as one of the most valuable era coins in U.S. history. And yet, despite its fame, few outside serious numismatic circles have even heard of the 2002 mule cent. That's part of what makes its story so thrilling. It still exists in that mysterious, slightly hidden corner of coin collecting where extraordinary discoveries can emerge from the most mundane sources. Imagine picking up a penny off the ground or finding one in a roll from your local bank, only to realize it has a dime reverse. It's the ultimate dream scenario, a true collector's fantasy made real. The market for mule errors is small, but feverishly competitive. Since only a few such errors are known, especially involving Lincoln cents and Roosevelt dimes, collectors treat each one as a numismatic crown jewel. Owning a 2002 mule cent isn't just about possessing a rare coin, it's about holding a once-in-a-lifetime mistake from a mint system that's supposed to be flawless. The fact that it happened in such a recent year makes it even more fascinating because it suggests that despite advances in automation, inspection, and technology, human error and mechanical oversight can still produce incredible anomalies. For aspiring collectors, the story of the 2002 mule penny serves as both inspiration and a warning not to overlook even modern coins. Too often, people assume that valuable coins must be old, worn, or foreign, but modern US coins can hold immense value if the circumstances are just right. The 2002 mule penny proves that even in the digital age, analog mistakes can lead to digital windfalls. What should you do if you think you found one? First, examine the coin carefully under good lighting. If one side looks like a penny and the other like a dime, don't dismiss it. Weigh the coin. It should weigh around 2.5 grams if struck on a penny planchet, or slightly less if on a dime planchet. Next, look at the alignment. Some mule errors have a rotated die, which can be an additional indicator. Finally, and most importantly, never alter the coin or try to clean it. Get it to a professional numismatist or grading service for authentication. If real, you could be looking at a 7-figure payday. The 2002 1-cent mule error teaches us an important lesson. Sometimes the rarest treasures hide in plain sight. Among billions of ordinary coins, one spectacular mistake escaped unnoticed, until it didn't. And when it was found, it rewrote the book on what's possible in modern coin collecting. Keep searching, stay curious, and never assume a coin is worthless based solely on its date. Because the next $1 million penny might already be in your pocket, waiting to be flipped over to reveal a torch, some leaves, and the greatest surprise of your life.